speaker who will tell us a little bit something about Google Glass.
Thank you. Okay, Glass, what are all the people doing here? No answer. Thank you for coming. And my name is Siko, and I will present a developer's perspective on Google Glass. And I've divided the presentation into 3 sections. The first one is an overview of Google Glass, what you can do with it and how it works and how you operate with it. The second part is where we will go through how to develop applications for Google Glass. And the third section is where I will show you existing applications, how they work and how they affect the way we think and work. So one of the first questions I get when I discuss Google Glass is, what is it like to wear Google Glass and walk around with them? And it's amazing. But it's also this, you know the feeling when you've been to the hairdresser and you get a new haircut and you leave and you walk down the street and people are looking at you but you don't know why. And people are pointing at you and they're talking about you but you don't know why. That's what it feels like wearing Google Glass. It's a bit different because in the IT industry, everybody knows about Google Glass. Some of us have tried them on and we've read articles and we've seen pictures. But for the rest of the world, this is Star Trek. It's the future and it's just pure fiction. But it gets better. Just a couple of days ago, Google released the Titanium. And it's a new version of the glasses, and it looks like this. So you have real glasses, and you can wear prescription glasses. It looks much better. And in a couple of years, I'm hoping that the actual device will be much smaller, so we don't recognize it. A little bit about the history. Google Glass was announced at Google I/O in 2012. In 2013, Google started shipping the devices. And in the end of 2013, there was a new release, new glasses. And we're expecting, or perhaps hoping, more hoping than expecting, that there will be a consumer release in the beginning of 2014. There is a battery behind your ear. It might look big, but it's quite tiny. The entire glass device weighs in at about 30 grams. There is a speaker next to the ear. You have a USB connector. There is a touchpad on the side. So that's how you operate the glasses. You can also issue voice commands. There is a button for taking photos. And in the latest release, you can even wink, so like that. And there's a camera, there's a microphone, and you can take pictures and shoot videos with the camera. And there is the prism. The basic idea behind Google Glass is fairly simple. There's a projector, projecting light into the prism, reflecting it into your eye. The protruding part is adjustable, so when you try them on, make sure that the display is right above your eyesight. One of the biggest problems with developing applications for Google Glass is the limited display. So we have 640 times 360 pixels. That's it. But on the good side, we're running Android API level 15, that's ice cream sandwich, so no gingerbread. We have 1 gigabyte of RAM and we have 16 gigabytes of memory, of which I think 4 gigabytes are reserved for the operating system. And we have a 5 megapixel camera to take pictures and shoot video. We have accelerometer, gravity and gyroscope, everything that you expect from a modern device. And you compare your glasses with the device, with the mobile device, to pick up the GPS signal. So you can get directions on the display. I will show you that. To set up Google Glass, there are two alternatives. You can connect the glass via Bluetooth to your device and download an application from Google Play. Or you can connect to your web browser via Bluetooth. And it looks like this. So it's glassgoogle.com. And there's a menu with the setup. It's a little bit about the My Glass contains device information. You can set up the Wi-Fi, and you can look at the applications that are installed, the Glassware. There is another menu called Glassware that you use to install the applications available. And this is not Google Play. It's perhaps 100 or 200 applications available, that's it. But I'm assuming that as soon as the consumer release is out, there will be a bunch of new applications every day. So a little bit about how we operate them. Google Glass is almost all the time in sleep mode. And to activate them, you can do a single tap on the touch-sensitive part, the touch panel. Or you can tilt your head 30 degrees. And that is also why I'm not looking at you up there, because the glasses will be activated every time I look up. And it's a bit annoying. And I'm not sure if you can hear it, but since I'm connected to my mobile phone, I can hear all the emails and messages coming in, which is kind of annoying. But I can't turn it off because I got to show you. So tilt your head, and the tilt angle is customizable. So there's a settings menu on the glasses where you can change it. So I tried with 10 degrees, but that's just not right because it turns on all the time. So when you activate the glasses, you will come. There's another mail. When you activate the glasses, you will come to the main screen of something that we call the timeline. And the timeline contains everything that ever happened 7 days back. So to the right is the past. That's where all my emails, my phone calls, my pictures, everything is stored. So I can go to the past to see what's happened. On the left side is the future or the ongoing. That's where you find the settings. Another mail. That's where you find the settings panel and running applications. On the timeline, you can find the settings or an email. And if you want to know more, you can do a single tap on the side. And by doing that, you will either enter the sub-menu or open up the email or the conversation or the picture. So, swiping forward means going right into the future on the timeline. It's cards that you swipe that move away. Swiping back means going to the left. Every time I give this presentation, I tell them exactly how to navigate, and no one gets it right. People are just saying, okay, let's take a picture, and that's it. So try to navigate, see what it feels when you try them on afterwards. As I said, you can do a single tap to enter a menu or to bring up an email or a picture or video. You swipe down to go back out of the menu or the email. You can also control the glasses by issuing voice commands. So you can say, okay, Glass, Google, or take a picture, or record a video. And you can control the menu by moving your head up and down. So moving your head down means scrolling down in the menu. And as you can see, you can start a bike ride or go for a round of golf. So let's do a demo. Yes, I can see you're tweeting. So I've hooked up the glasses to the mobile device. And there's an application where I can record everything that's happening on the glasses. And I use Android Screen Monitor to display it on the screen. And unfortunately, the Android Screen Monitor is really bad. So what you will see is something running at 3 frames per second. what I'm seeing is I have a clear vision, so I don't have a black background like you have. And the picture is actually really good. And the frame rate is really good on the device. So what you're seeing is not accurate. Okay, Glass. Take a picture. Okay, Glass, take a better picture. So take a picture. What about sharing? Sharing is caring. Okay, Glass. Take a picture. Okay, Glass. Share with Twitter. Okay, Glass. This is an amazing audience. This is an amazing... No, it's not. So now I have an image on my Twitter feed with, I don't know what. Okay, Glass. This is a kind of an amazing audience. Come on. Okay, never mind. Okay, Glass. And as you can see, I'm moving my head down to go through the different options. So what about make a video call? Martin Gunnarsson. He's actually the guy that I used to present with, but he bailed out. So I'm gonna make an angry phone call to him. Can you hear it? He's supposed to answer, and he's supposed to be playing ping pong. Martin? There's an angry mob waiting for you in Stockholm. No, it's not a bear, it's an angry mob. Are you in the toilet? Who are you running from? Except the mob. So can you hear him? We're not talking to you, Martin. So what did you say? You don't like the audience? Yeah. You see Mark sitting there? You don't like him? Okay, so you've been drinking. Goodbye. Thank you. See you, Martin. Thank you for answering. Thank you. Okay, Glass, don't do that again. So let's see. Oh. Okay, Glass. Get directions to. Where do you want to go? I'm not from around, so where should we go? Okay, Glass. Get directions to. Malmo. Probably not. Mono. Fuck. Mono music. Okay, sure, go ahead. Getting directions. And as you can see, the display is really good. So I guess we gotta follow. Join me. No, let's stop. Correct? Stop. Okay, Glass. It's always having a hard time. Okay, let's do this instead. I'm Googling. No, I'm not. Excuse me. Who am I? Okay, good to know. The President of the United States. "17 miles in kilometers." Okay, I don't want to convert it. One last try. What's the answer to life, the universe, and everything?
The answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. So, part 2, building applications. And there are 2 different kinds of application that you can build. Glassware, that I've showed you, and native Android applications. Glassware is a bit different. Glassware is not installed on the device. It's just content being pushed to the timeline. And it works like this. You have your private server. You push content, text, images, video, and HTML to a Google server. And that server will push the content to your users' glasses. So there is no direct communication between the private server and the glasses. And you're very limited to what you can do. But it's a perfect fit for, let's say, Facebook. They're pushing just images, a headline, and some text to your glasses. Nothing is installed. So I'm an Android developer, so I'm not excited about it. But if you want to know more, take a look at Matthias Erle's video. It's an excellent overview of how you build Glassware. What I'm interested in is native development. So when I say native, I mean using the Android SDK. And that is the same SDK that you've been using when you develop for Android. But there is one thing missing. When you build an application targeting the glasses, how do you deploy it on the glasses and hook them up to the menu, the voice menu? Or how do you detect touches? That's where the GDK comes in. It's the Glass development kit. And if we look at the stack, you have the same Android SDK that you're used to. You have layouts, views, activities, services, etc. The GDK contains a package for voice, and you use that package to hook up into the system. There are cards. Cards are events on the timeline, and you have gesture detection to be notified when something happens. So I'm going to build a simple application. It's like the hello world for the glasses, except I'm going to call it Hello Bear. I'm going to use Android Studio. You can use Eclipse or NetBeans, or whatever you like, as long as you have the SDK, the Android environment set up correctly. And the good thing is that targeting Google Glass is the same as targeting a tablet or a phone. It's the same environment, it's kind of the same classes, so you get familiar very quickly. So what I do is I create a new project, and I set the name, and the package, and the location. And then I set the minimum and the target SDK to 15. That's the only thing that Glass recognizes. And then I set the compile width to the GDK sneak peek. That's also a requirement. And I set the theme to none. the glasses doesn't support theme. If you don't have the GDK sneak peek, open the SDK manager and make sure you download it. So here we are with an activity that is empty, there's no content. The first thing we have to do is to hook up the application to the voice menu. So we need to be able to start the application. So what I want to do is say, OK Glass, beer time. And we need to do three things. We need to add a new string to the strings.xml. We need to create a new trigger, and we need to change the manifest pointing at the trigger. A new string, the name is glass voice trigger, and the value is beer time. That's the voice command. Then we create the trigger pointing at the string. And then we change the manifest and the intent filters action to be voice trigger. And we add some metadata with the name voice trigger and the resource pointing at the voice trigger. And we're done. That's all you have to do to hook up your application to the voice menu. So if I deploy the application, I will be able to say, OK Glass, beer time. But I want to add one more thing before we try it out. And I want the application to ask or prompt the user for their favorite beer. And I will get a string in return, and I'm going to show a message to the user. So in my activity, I create an intent with the action recognize speech. And on the second line, I add data. I add the data that I want the glasses to prompt the user with. So it's, what's your favorite beer? And then I just invoke start activity for result. And when the user has inputted data, or the favorite beer, I will get notified on activity result. On the first line, I get the data in a list of strings. And the first string in that list is the sentence that the user has said. And then I just create a text view. I set, yes, you deserve whatever beer you like. And I set that text view as the content of the activity. So let's try it. Let's try it. OK Glass. Beer time. Anchor steam. I know. So it's kind of the same as developing for regular Android. Now there is one more thing I would like to do. Who said one anchor stream is enough? One anchor stream is enough. So I'm gonna add touch gestures. So every time I do a single tap on the side, I'm gonna increase the number of anchor steam I've deserved. Fair enough. And the basic idea is you create a gesture detector, one of the classes from the GDK. And that is a class that provides us with listener interfaces that we can implement to get notified whenever something happens. So I set base listener, and on gesture, I would be notified if there's a single tap or a double tap, or if there's swiping. I can also add listener interfaces for being notified when the number of fingers that are touching the display changes, or if there's scrolling. And the last thing we have to do is to redirect. We have to override the onGeneric motion event to pass every event to the gesture listener. So what I'm going to do is I've created 4 new fields: account, the gesture detector, a string with a favorite beer, and the text view. In the onActivity result, I just invoke setUpTouch. And I implement that method by creating the detector, and then I set a base listener. And in onGesture, I just check if there's a single tap, And then I set the texts to yes, you deserve, increased account, and favorite beer. And override on a generic motion event. So let's take a look. So let's take a look at that. Okay, Glass. Beer time. Anchor steam. I sure do. Free beer, right? So, converting existing applications, it contains three things. First of all, you can take your application that you've been building and you've been targeting a phone or tablet. And you can just you can just hook it up to the voice menu like I've shown you, and it will work. So I tried with one of the applications that we've been building internally, and it's a huge application. And I just hooked it up to the menu system, and it just works. I get the main activity, and I get all the graphics in a very limited amount of space. And then nothing happens, because there's no way for me to navigate. I mean, after all, we're used to touch input, and this is very, very limited. You might be able to find one item in a list and click, but that's it. So that's the second thing we have to consider, navigation. And that leads us to the third thing, and this is the expensive one. So I'm guessing that we will spend all our money and all our time on rewriting the user experience, because you're limited to it's a very limited number of activities that you can have in your activity because of user navigation. I mean, you can have as many as you like, but it's really difficult to navigate with the glasses. And issuing voice commands is, well, it only works so far. And using the touchpad it's kind of difficult. So you have to keep your application simple, at least the user experience. So moving on to the third part, and this is existing applications. And there's a few, well, I can show you. There's a firefighter in the United States who's been developing a prototype that he used at work. So in this case, there's an alarm, and instantly he will be notified of where the accident or the fire is. So he knows exactly where he's going. When it gets to let's say it's a fire, he can say, okay, Glass, just bring me the overview of the building. So before he goes in there, he knows what to expect. He knows where the walls are. It's pretty clever. And if it gets to a car accident, he can say, okay, Glass, bring me the details of the car. And I don't know if you can see it. Yes, you can. The red marks are the soft spots, so you know where to cut to remove the top of the car. This is just a prototype, but it's pretty cool. So it will change the way we think and the way we work. There's an exercise application called Raise Yourself, where you're running against a virtual partner. So you're seeing someone running in front of you. So in this case, you're 4 meters behind, you've been out running for a very long time, even though the distance is really short, but well, who cares? And you've been burning 14 calories in 1 hour and 43 minutes, okay? That is probably mock-up. And if that's not exciting enough, you can always be chased by a giant boulder. And in this case, it's like 90 meters ahead. Keep it up. And if that's not exciting enough, you can be chased by zombies. And in this case, it didn't end well. Or if you're gonna go skydiving, why not have virtual targets? Or if you're gonna go skiing or snowboarding, why not have virtual targets? It's pretty cool. There is a dentist in the United States who's been playing around with Google Glass. So he can say, okay, Glass, who's my next patient? No, not you. Who's my next patient? And it brings up a card of the next patient. And by doing a single click, he can get more information about the patient. And during the procedure, he can say, show me the x-rays of patient number 28. And he will get the x-rays, the previous x-rays. Or he can say, okay, take a picture of patient number 28. And the glasses will take a picture and store it in the journal system for patient number 28. And afterwards, he can just take a note and store it in the journal system. So it's pretty cool. There is a doctor in India who's been performing a foot surgery while wearing the glasses and streaming it to his colleagues. And there's another one in the United States he did a chest surgery with the glasses, streaming it alive. And there's another doctor there who did a knee surgery and he streamed it live to his colleagues and his students. And he could comment on what he was doing and why he was doing it and get feedback. So it's a really cool use case. So the overall impressions for Google Glass is it's an awesome technology. And even though it's a bit awkward walking around with them, it's still amazing. And I think this is just a door opener for what's coming next. What happens when the devices are tiny? What happens when it's easy to navigate? What happens when you have HD quality? I mean, this is just the beginning of something that is so much bigger. But as it is today, I don't think I'm going to go party with them. And I will probably not take them out for a boat ride. I mean, it's not suitable. But I think it's coming. And let's not forget competing technology. Google is the company that by far has come the longest when it comes to developing Google Glasses. But there are a bunch of other companies that are working on the same kinds of products. So I have a few pictures of other setups. And I don't know if we should probably not talk too much about it. It's probably secret. And someone has probably written or signed the NDA. But I'm going to show you them and you can judge for yourself. The first one is Samsung. And they got something incredible. And there's Microsoft, who I guess is the closest to Google. This is just awesome. And Apple, they have another take on it. And there's LG, and we have HTC, and they've come up with a brand new concept that's going to revolutionize the world. And let's not forget about Sony. So that's it. Do you have any questions that is not about competing technology? Yes?
Is there a left-handed version?
No. So the question was, is there a left-handed version? And the answer is no. Unless you want to turn them around, but it's kind of inconvenient. Yes?
Can you hijack the microphone? So if you stand next to a Google Glass user and say like, okay, Glass.
So... I'm not going to answer that question. So the question was if you can hijack the microphone, and obviously you can. Let's not do that again. So more questions? I'm trying to, okay.
Can you change the command then to something else then?
No. Not in the current version, but I'm guessing that you should be able to do that in the future. Can you change the command? That was the question. And no, you can't. Not in the current version. More questions?
What is the price?
The price is $1,500, but they're not selling them, so you have to wait for the commercial release. I'm trying to look up, but it's kind of more questions. Yes.
Battery life. Battery life.
Let's see. So I started out on 73% and I have 54% left. But I think the battery in this one is really bad. So other devices have better battery. I guess it depends. But I can see the battery going down as we speak. They're supposed to last for an entire day, and I guess they do if you don't use them. Yes?
Will the battery be serviceable, replaceable?
So the question is if you... No, not a picture. So the question is if you can replace the battery, and you can't. Yes?
From your experience, does it attract your attention when you're walking or when you're driving? This is a big discussion point.
So the question is if I'm...
Can you focus on what you're doing? Even
Can I focus on what I'm doing? I thought you noticed. No. When they're in sleep mode, it's actually not that disturbing. I mean, I can see you. But if there's something going on there, it's a killer. So no, you shouldn't be driving in them. Yes, in the back.
Can it project pictures of your entire field of vision or just a corner?
So the question is if you can...
Can it project pictures of your entire field of vision?
If you can project images of the entire vision, no.
So is it just like a small box or?
It's just a small box. It's like you have a display over there. It's that big. And it's only displaying what you can see in the camera. So it's limited. Yes?
Does it apply for sort of EU grants for mobile development and things like that?
So the question is if it's... One more time.
I think there's like EU grants for mobile development. Would it apply?
I don't know. More questions before we try them out? Yes, up there.
Is there a night tracker as part of the device? Is there any night access?
So the question is if there's a night tracker. Mic tracker.
eye that you can.
Yes, I think so. I can take photos by doing that. And there is an API for, but I don't think it's public, but there is an API for looking at the eyes, but I have no idea. So I'm not going to answer yes or no, but I guess they're planning for something. Yes?
What do you think of the responsiveness, not the voice commands, more like
So-
GPS, does it feel quick? Or
So the question is if it's responsive, and I would say yes, because what you're seeing on the screen is really bad, but what I'm seeing and what you will be able to try is just amazing. It's really quick. But then when you're doing a Google search, there's a delay, because you're going to Google and you're getting a reply, so it's take time. But when it comes to doing voice commands and swiping, it's really quick. Yes?
Do you use it for anything in your everyday life?
So the question is if I use it for anything in my private life except for having fun. No, I mean I don't wear it around in town. I mean that's not me. So I might wear them tomorrow, and you can grab me and ask more questions, or we can try them. I won't promise that I do because it's kind of scary doing that. So yes.
Does the GDK does come with its own emulator?
There is no. The question is if there's an emulator, and it's not. So you have to have a pair of glasses to try it out. Am I missing someone? Okay, I guess it's time to try them on. So you can build the largest queue ever. And you can wait forever if you want to try them. Sure.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.